might want to squat for this, Mr. Evaluator.
I decide when squatting is necessary.
Okay, are there any more recommendations for new games at the rec center?
My daughter, she loves Chutes and Ladders.
Oh, come on. There is no strategy to Chutes and Ladders. It's just luck.
My daughter's 5.
Well, your daughter is an idiot.
Also, how weird are forks?
Forks are very weird. I've always thought so.
Yeah.
It's the Al Travis Show. Love having our next guest on. He's Senator Jeff Howe. Senator, I appreciate you very much coming on, always being there for me. How you doing, sir?
Terrific. Life is good.
Well, I got to ask you one of the 11 rapid-fire questions, but I already know the answer, but that's okay. Maybe most folks don't. Generally, the last couple of weeks, unless you're not in session, we've talked to you. You're up at the cabin. The question this week is, what do you do to relax? And I presume it's go to the cabin.
Well, that's part of it, but I will say we can't always go to the cabin to relax, right?
Sure. Well, what do you do?
I like to read, tell you the truth. And I read these suspense novel type stuff that you get a separation from reality a little bit. But reading helps, I think. And I love going hunting. It's just when you don't have that hunting season, that's the other piece. If I can go out, fishing is good, but I don't, then you got to clean stuff if you catch stuff. And I don't mind not catching.
What's your favorite thing to hunt? Are you bird? You have deer? What is it you really enjoy?
Guy. I would love to, I'd rather eat grouse because I think it's a better tasting bird, but you gotta just about step on them to get them up, and then they scare the living bejesus out of you. And by the time you recover, you can't. It's gone.
See, it's not funny, but for folks who don't hunt for a living or do it for fun, pheasant and grouse, that's to me some of the toughest hunting because you're out trudging through the deep grass and trying to kick them up. I mean, it's a workout to do that. Not ripping the deer hunter guys. But I didn't mind pushing down here. We do some pushing. But you can sit down and you're the guy posting and you're waiting for the deer to go by. That's, okay. Not quite as strenuous, but you guys that go with the pheasants, that's a workout.
It is. And people don't realize I've got a lot of, my body's not like it was when I was younger, but they don't realize they say, when you hunt, you just continue to go. I said, well, the real story is because when I quit, I won't be able to move for a couple of days. So I got to get it all done because when I quit, my body's, I can't do it anymore. So
I think in dating, we hunted forever a deer down here, big party group. It always fun. But you just got to an age where when it was 25 below or, 20 below and you got to get up at 4 a.m. and be out sitting in the blind and your body hurt just because of the pain and the joints and the fun went out quick. And it's like, do I really need any more meat? Anyway. Good. Okay, that's a good answer.
Have you ever read the Vince Flynn novels?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's some folks that they read the first one and said, can't do that. It's too real. It's too. Yeah. But it's too bad that he left us so early. But those were great novels. The Clive Clusser novels. Yep. There's James Patterson's got some. So there's a lot of those. I actually read one. The last book I read, I just finished, was a book about and now I can't remember the name of it. It's sitting upstairs, but it's a book about the folks that went in, the Special Forces guys, the ODAs that went into the southern part of Afghanistan. Great read, not a novel, but we got some of those heroes that actually work right here and live in Minnesota. So it's a great read.
Back when I was service, I've read a lot of books about the service. The Tunnels of Ku-Chi. I won't read it again. It was too graphic for me. It's like, man, and when I say graphic, it just puts you where you're in that. I couldn't do it again. Let me. I
remember the name of the book. It's Worth Dying For. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Good. All right. Well, I thought that was going to be a throwaway question. There goes a few minutes. Let me ask you this. I don't know if you caught it. Senator Hoffman got back on the program with us on Monday, which I was very happy about. He's back, by the way. I just found out yesterday he will be back on the program again. I think we're back to regular John Hoffman, which is very good for us because we love the cat. But your thoughts on all that has transpired in the last, 6-8 weeks now? Mitchell gets found guilty of her thing. That's another thing we'll talk about. But this guy, I mean, they're going to go after it from the death penalty, as far as I can tell. The Vance guy. Where you sit now, Senator? 8 weeks later.
I've got. It's great to have John back. Senator Hoffman is a great individual. There's a lot of moving pieces. The death of probably one of my best friends down there at the legislature, Senator Anderson, Bruce Anderson. We drove from Minnesota to the White House in Washington together in our wives and us in my pickup. Got to know him. He's just a quality individual, great guy.
Share more about that. I think his death got overshadowed by a bunch of stuff, including that Mitchell case. He had been on this program a couple times. I like him, mild-mannered, just a good Christian fellow that he was going to do the right thing all the time, and he just plodded along that way, not verbose or anything, just a really quality human.
He followed the Bible. He followed God's guidance about humility, about meekness. And the definition, I just learned this the other day. And in fact, he started the Wednesday legislative Bible study. And so that continues today. And
fantastic.
The definition of weakness, that's controlling that. And I can't remember it right offhand, but it's controlling that power that you have. And so he was the epitome of that. He really was a human. He showed that humility that he had. So he'd be greatly missed in the chamber there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So it just got so overshadowed because of the Mitchell thing, and it's too bad because he was a really great guy. So thank you for the good words. Let me ask you this, though. Things are going to change in the Senate. I read some story today. The senators are all going to get so much money to do some enhancements to, to their safety at home. How is this the tragedy that both the killings and the near killings, the attempted murders of the Hoffmans, how is that going to change the landscaping in our lives here in Minnesota?
Well, I think it's, I think it's going to change a lot, and it should. I always thought that if you're going to go into this line of work, you probably should. You need a security system, and
sure,
the discussion is there whether the legislature should pay for it. I actually think that when they allowed us to use our campaign funds to pay for it, I said, well, that's kind of disingenuous because now if I'm in a close race in one of those swing districts, maybe I can't afford to take money out of my campaign fund to pay for that. And so I think it's the right thing to do is probably have it paid for and make it so everyone's kind of got that base level of security. I mean, the downside is I had cameras. I didn't check mine that morning when somebody pounded on my door. You shared that story. I've shared it amongst friends as well. You said, a cop shows up the door, knocks on your door, whatever time it was in the morning, you went and answered the door. You have the security game. Went look at the door. The cop's here. Exactly what everybody else did. Yeah, and so let's go down that road. And I waiting to talk to John. I sent him a text message. I was surprised to have him respond weeks later, but he responded. I didn't expect him to respond immediately. But so let's say John, and I don't know if he carries or not. I don't think he does. But let's say he went to answer the door with a handgun. People don't realize, as he did and pushed, and to me, he's a hero. He's shown that he was going to protect his family. He's pushing them out the door. But if he was a carry guy or went to there with a gun, he would not be able to shoot that guy. He'd have to retreat to a bedroom in the back of the house, or he'd have to retreat before he could return fight. And I think this should bring to the fallacy of that type of approach, that he should be able to defend himself and protect his house and his family. At that point, he should not have to try to retreat to another part of the house before he defends his home and his family.
See, I think as people are driving down the street, I hope you do, because in reality, people driving down the street, I think most don't know this, and I'll use that because I was at a family gathering this weekend, and there are a couple of us that have carry, and you know that law. You have now in Minnesota this duty to retreat even in your own home. And we were sitting, this all came up because of the shooting. We were just chatting about it, and this guy comes over, he had to retreat. And well, I would say more than half. There were only two of us with a carry, and everyone else in the room was, oh, no, you don't. You can stand your ground. And your castle's your castle. And we absolutely made him bring it up on the iPhone and say, people don't even know this. You can't, if you're getting shot at your front door, your job is to retreat in Minnesota. I think we have to look at that. I mean, even with all this, now I don't want, it's about gun stuff. They want to put metal detectors, no carry at the Capitol, that sort of thing. I don't know. We'll have to discuss all that. But that was an interesting conversation we had this weekend because of the shootings, and mostly no law.
And we had this discussion last session regarding a Supreme Court decision about a guy at a train station, one of the light rail stations, who got accosted. And believe it or not, I don't know where he had the thing, but he pulled out a machete and swung it around. Never approached the people, but he was just trying to defend himself to try and keep them away. He's the guy that got charged. And it went to the Supreme Court, and Justice Thiessen, who used to be the Speaker of the House, Democrat, was the dissenting, saying, wait a minute, he didn't go after anybody. He defended himself, and he should be able to do that. And I crafted legislation based upon that, but couldn't get that one to go anywhere. But we need to take a look at that, because you should be able to protect yourself and defend your space. I think that's reasonable.
It's fair enough. We got to go to break. We'll be back after this. We have much more to talk about. Senator Jeff Howe on the program.
If it's your turn to host a game, Grandpa's Barbecue suggests you try something different. Put out the perfect barbecue flavor of Grandpa's Barbecue. Add it to your ribs, dip the meatballs, or drench your wings in the original flavor of Grandpa's Barbecue. It isn't too hot or spicy, fruity or smoky or whatever. Grandpa's Barbecue. Available in select stores and online at grandpasbarbecueshop.com.
Think about it. Now that school's out for the summer, how are Minnesota students doing? Not very well. Minnesota ACT scores fell again last year and are the lowest they've been in 10 years. In fact, fewer than half of Minnesota students can either read or do math at grade level. Think about it. We used to brag about our schools. Now we're losing to states like Mississippi. Visit AmericanExperiment.org for more information. Think About It is brought to you by Center of the American Experiment, Minnesota's think tank.
as in alligator. L also in alligator. But it's not alligator. It's the Al Travis Show.
It is so nice to have, well, we call him Colonel DOGE. He's Senator Jeff Howe on the program. He's always out here helping us find the fraud, the abuse, the things that are just nuts. Sir, I ask you this because I wonder if we want people snooping under the bed. We had more Medicaid fraud. An investigation came out here last week. Then this autism thing came back up. Medicaid thing is interesting. Like, there are 20 businesses in one office complex all getting checks, and no one even really. Everybody in the go ahead.
Nobody checks the addresses. I mean, isn't that a simple? I mean, even before you send out a fundraising letter, for crying out loud, you got a program that checks those addresses, right, to make sure you don't have duplicates.
You would think.
Al, we could have the same address, just change the names, and we're good, right?
Yeah.
Just use the same data.
So here's my thing, because the governor seems to be living through this and doing okay by it. There's a thing coming out. He might be $1 billion in waste under his realm, but he's thinking about running for governor again. It doesn't seem to be affecting him. So what came out, and what's her name? Kristen Robbins, Representative Robbins, the chair of that fraud prevention, has asked, they've signed a letter. They sent a letter to the government. The federal government said, please come do an audit of Minnesota's Department of Human Services. Are you okay with that? I mean, invite them in and see what it finds out. I mean, I'm happy they find anything they can, but when they find it, they have to do something about it. Are we ready for that?
I think we have been ready for that. We need that, because here's the deal. They have, especially the Health and Human Services, I believe that outfit, that agency is required to have their own IG.
Yes.
Right?
It's
their
wrong.
own inspector general. But who do they report to?
The governor.
The commissioner.
Oh, the commissioner.
Who appoints the commissioner? The governor.
Yeah.
So
not all that independent.
Is not really independent, and that's why we needed the IG bill to pass last year. And of course, the governor didn't want it. Why? Well, now you're going to have somebody looking under the sheets and seeing exactly what's going on. And so if we can't get that and do it ourselves, and it doesn't seem like our AG is too interested in doing it, our attorney general. No. So we need somebody from the outside to come take a look. And it's just too bad. I mean, you look at all this fraud that's being found. No. Who's charging it? It's all the federal. Can you imagine how much fraud is in our state agencies and our state programs that's not using federal money? We haven't even touched that. So
do you think it'll go anywhere? Now, with Trump, I think you could get the investigation. Evidently, the entire congressional Minnesota Republican congressional delegation wrote a sternly written letter to Walz and said, you better check this stuff out. Walz isn't even taking time to read it, is he? I mean, put it in the circular file. He doesn't care, does he?
He doesn't care. He's only looking at the political landscape, and I think he knows he's got a certain number of folks that are going to back him no matter what, as long as he gets the. And I think if he decides to run, I don't know if he can. I don't think anybody on that side of the aisle can beat him as far as the endorsement process. And, there's a lot of folks out there that are getting something for nothing. And they're going to continue to go down that road. And I think that's the rest of us. I think there's some on that other side of the aisle. I don't know if he can win a third term, because I think that all this fraud does hurt him.
But
on a state
don't you have to put somebody up that can go after him? The problem is I don't see us throwing out a lot of deep names going out here for this. Would you like to announce your candidacy for governor this morning on my program? I'd appreciate it.
Al, if I thought I could get the backing and the money, I would do it. But, the deal is the thing that I got going for me, I got a record. Yeah. And the thing that I got against me is I got a record.
It's so true. I would love it if you did, but on the other hand, I completely understand it. The amount of money and time and everything that it takes to make that happen, and then you give up a seat where you're doing some nice stuff for us. I don't know that I'd necessarily want to lose that either.
I tell you what, that regardless, I would love to do it. I have dipped my toe in that water twice to see, and I did it this year, trying to find if I would have the support to do it. I just don't. I had a brother that ran the statewide race. Yeah, it's tough work. And I don't want to be another name on a deal just trying to get it there like what I see out there right now today. And I think I would just be another name on the deal. You need some support, so I think and I hope that we're going to hear another name that I think people can get behind. I've been working on this individual to run for governor for a couple of years. I hope we can get that to happen.
Good. You let him or her, you ask her or him to come on the program and announce it, will you?
Got it.
All right, my friend. Got to fly. Appreciate you. You know I do. Senator Jeff Howe. We call him Colonel Doge on the Al Travis Show.